Daniel was a 15-year-old boy who lived a life of comfort and happiness with his wealthy parents. As their only child, he had everything he could possibly need: luxury, love, and security. His parents were his world, and they showered him with affection, making him feel cherished every day. But one night, everything he knew and loved was ripped away from him in an instant. It happened when his parents were coming to pick him up from a friend's birthday party. They were driving through a dark stretch of woods when a strange woman suddenly appeared in front of their car. Daniel's dad swerved to avoid her, but it was too late. The car crashed violently, and the woman, along with Daniel's parents, died on the spot. The tragedy shattered Daniel's world. He was left alone, with no one to turn to except his aunt and uncle, who lived in a small town far away. His aunt and uncle were kind, humble people, but their lives were far from the comfort Daniel had been used to. They lived in a small, isolated cottage, away from the bustle of the city. Though they welcomed Daniel with open arms and treated him like their own son, the loneliness of their remote home was overwhelming for him. He missed his parents terribly, and even though his relatives tried their best to comfort him, Daniel couldn't shake the feeling of emptiness that lingered in his heart. As the days passed, Daniel started adjusting to his new life. His aunt and uncle were patient and loving, and slowly he began to feel a sense of normalcy again. He even started smiling and laughing with them, though there was always a part of him that longed for the warmth of his parents. But one night, something happened that would shake him to his core. Daniel woke up to a chilling sight. Through his window, he saw something that made his blood run cold: a figure standing in the darkness just outside his window. His heart raced as fear gripped him. When he told his aunt and uncle about it the next morning, they dismissed it as a nightmare. They reassured him that nothing strange had ever happened in their home. But Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The next night, as Daniel was about to fall asleep, he heard soft footsteps moving around his room. His heart pounded as he lay frozen in his bed, unable to see anything in the darkness. "Auntie, is that you?" he called out, his voice trembling. But no answer came. The footsteps continued, and Daniel's fear intensified. His aunt and uncle, though concerned, didn't believe him and suggested it was just his imagination or a side effect of his trauma. Days turned into weeks, and Daniel's condition worsened. He could no longer sleep. His health began to deteriorate, and his behavior became more erratic. His aunt and uncle, desperate to help him, took him to a psychiatrist who diagnosed him with severe mental trauma from the sudden loss of his parents. The psychiatrist explained that Daniel was suffering from schizophrenia, which made him see things that weren't there. He prescribed medication to manage his condition, hoping it would bring him some peace. But despite the medications, Daniel's situation didn't improve. One night, his uncle fell ill, and his aunt had to rush him to the hospital. As they left, Daniel woke up, realizing he was alone in the house. His fear escalated. He knew, in his paranoid state, that the woman from his visions would appear in the dark, and there would be no one to help him. The anxiety hit him hard, and he began frantically searching for his medication, desperate to calm himself down. In his frantic search, Daniel stumbled into his aunt's bedroom, hoping to find the pills. But what he discovered there changed everything. Hidden in the back of her wardrobe was a mask, an item that made Daniel's blood run cold. The truth hit him like a ton of bricks. His aunt and uncle had been behind everything. They had been trying to drive him insane so that they could take control of his inheritance. They were the ones orchestrating the strange happenings to make him believe he was losing his mind. Daniel, with newfound courage, left their house and immediately contacted the police. His aunt and uncle were arrested, and their deceitful plan was exposed. Their greed had led them to betray the very boy they had promised to care for, but in the end, Daniel was freed from their malicious plot. He had uncovered the truth, and justice was served. The nightmare was over, and Daniel's life, though scarred, was finally his own again. As Daniel moved forward, he found solace in knowing that he had survived the darkest chapter of his life. Though the pain of losing his parents would never fully go away, he had learned to trust in himself and the truth. The journey had been long and terrifying, but in the end, Daniel emerged stronger, with a new sense of purpose and a heart ready to heal.